Alright, we're getting ready to replant the garden tower. You can see it over there. We're cleaning it up, and we've got some transplants that can go in there. Now today we're going to go ahead and grow some microgreens. I'm going to show you guys how we set up the little self-watering wicking grow container. Now, there's a couple ways you can do it. You can start with your microgreens small and just plant them into there, but I like to go ahead and get them established. That way I can pick out the best ones to actually put in, instead of just planting out my garden tower and lots of them dying and me having to replace them. I like to go ahead and know that they're going to have a good head start and then transplant them in there. Now you can always go and buy transplants and rinse off the roots and put them in, but you're going to end up with a lot of soil and debris. And the reason why I like to do this is, like I said, number one, it gets them acclimated to the hydroponics. So you have a little microgreen, instead of growing in soil for the first 3 weeks, 2-3 weeks, it's going to be growing inside of your hydroponics. That way it's used to the moist environment, it's used to being in the hydroponics, and you're not transferring it from soil into hydroponics. Now the second thing is that when it's in here, if you take it from the microgreens, which we're going to plant out, and you pull it off, there's very little soil or debris on there, and you put it into something like the downspout or any of your other off-grid containers, and they get to grow and get established. So they get a nice root system. So I can't go you there, right, with very little debris or anything on it. So that way you can take this right from here, transplant it into your grow tower, and it does just fine. Then you have less stuff that's going to actually clog up your pump. So let's go ahead and plant out a couple of these. Now I'm just using these takeout containers, and I want to show you, it's not the cleanest thing in the world, because you can use these over and over and over again. Now this is something a lot of you order takeout and end up tossing it into the recycling bin. So this is just free containers you can use, and like I said, you can tell that these have been used. I think this one had mashed potatoes in it or something. So any kind of container. I love the ramen containers. Somebody was stressing out because they couldn't find the ramen containers, but the reason why I use this is because we just have a lot of them, and these used to just go into recycling, and now we get to use them. And believe it or not, these guys are really sturdy, and I've used these things like over a year. So what we're going to do is I'm going to use a takeout container, and I'm just going to use this as a block out lid. It doesn't fit perfect, but it works okay. You could also use these if you want, and fine too, or what I've done before is cut a piece of pool noodle or anything, PVC pipe, whatever, to have this stand off a little, drill some holes in the bottom of this, and boom, you've got another microgreen grower. And it's free, right? Stuff you're going to throw away. So we'll go ahead and put one of these together really quick. And all I've done is, the bottom is just the same. And I just take the lid with my soldering iron. I'll bring it in for close up. And you can see that the soldering iron leaves a nice clean edge on it, so when I pull the paper towel through, it's not tearing it. It also gives you a little bit of a slot. You can cut it with an X-Acto knife or a razor blade, but just be very careful. However you do it, you just need a couple of slots, and I like them opened up like that. So we're going to go ahead and get one of these set up, and I'm going to show you how quick this is. So I've got paper towel here. I like to grab 2 or 3, depends on what size you have. See, these are the little picket size ones. When they were like the full sheets, I only grabbed 2. This size I grab about 3. Just fold it up, and you might need to fold it again. Put it in here. Slide it through the other side. See if your slots are too small, it's not going to pull through there. Now this is not that deep, so you only have to have it come out, you know, like an inch and a half. And all I do is get water. I just start off with water, and I'm going to use a little bit of soil on top of this. It's going to be seed starting mix. And that gives it enough nutrients to get started. And if you want to grow them a little longer, if you don't want to take them as microgreens and plant them in here, you want to let them go a little bit longer, then you can go ahead and add a little bit of nutrients, maybe like 50-50 down in here. But me, I just get started with water here, and then as soon as they get big enough, I transplant them into downspouts and then let them go like this a couple of weeks into something bigger like that. Alright, and we've just got some kale seeds, and I don't even measure. I use that's about 2 teaspoons. Might need about a tablespoon, but because we're not growing microgreens, we're going to be using this as starts. You can plant as many as you need, and you can always eat some of these as microgreens. Right? Push down the paper towel once it's wet. And this is just what I like to do. Like I said, I don't like to get fussy. I don't like to worry about stuff. Sit out here. It's beautiful weather. Birds are singing. Traffic a little bit left here. And that's about all we're going to put in there. So believe it or not, that's probably a couple hundred seeds. So, you know, you plant a little more dense than that if you're going to be growing microgreens, but this is just what I do for this, since I'm going to be taking these and put them into our downspouts. Then I get the seed starting mix. Like we said, it's just Jiffy seed starting mix. It's got peat moss, cocoa coir, vermiculite, water for drainage, a little moisture retention, but this is what you start seeds in, so it's perfect. All we do is just get a handful, and you just have to cover it. Alright, get your little spray bottle, just water again. Get the top damp, and the bottom is already wicking up. The seeds are touching moisture down there. That's about all you need. Get your little ramen tray, right? Your moisture dome, put it on like that. If you have a bunch of these, just do that. No worries. Alright, my friends, that's how easy it is. All you need is some takeout containers, a little paper towel, some water, and seed starting mix, and you're in business. We've got a True Leaf Market for our seeds. They're coming out with a variety pack very, very soon, so y'all keep your eyes out for that. I'm really excited about that. Now I love doing this because just like our downspouts where we put them over here while they're microgreens, we put them in here, we don't touch them for a month, right? These have grown, I haven't added nutrients to them, haven't done anything, planted them out in there, and they're this size and they're ready to go into our grow tower. This is the same thing. You plant them in here, go ahead and keep it covered 3 or 4 days, you pull that off and then just leave it. Now if you're doing it outside and it's like 100 degrees and the water's evaporating, you will have to check that. But I usually sprout mine indoors, and I don't even have to refill them by the time it's time to transplant them over there. Now if you're going to let them go a little bit longer, you might want to go ahead and fill it up a little, or you could even put a little bit of nutrient solution and pour it into the soil where it kind of fills up, and that'll kind of keep them going for another week or two if you're not ready to transplant everything into your downspouts at that time. But for me, I like to do this as soon as they're big enough, transplant them into a container, let them go for about a month like this, then transplant them into something bigger like that, and start the process all over again. Continuous harvest. Alright, so you guys get out there, let me know if you have any more questions about the garden tower and how I get that set up and how I get that growing. So I hope that's easy to see that with minimal supplies, you know, very affordable, minimal effort, you can grow a lot of your own food. Alrighty, you guys get out there, live to inspire, keep on growing, be the change. Go grow some food.